Hey, everyone. It is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and this is Ball Cap Bible Study. So today, I wanted to talk about something in the Old Testament. Matter of fact, it's in the first five books. Um, Often, I'll do funeral or whatever, and somebody will want a blessing or a benediction. And matter of fact, many of you know my theology of convergence, where God lays the same thing on several people's heart at the same time, or a need is being met by many different people. Convergence is all through the Bible. You look at what happened to Joseph, you look at Moses, you look at the apostles, all sorts of stories I could show you in the Bible that prove God is at work in every man's heart at the same time. And you probably have your own stories. But I was preparing a service with a lady, her own service, and she wanted something. She went in on a high note with a blessing, and I said, "Well, what about number 624?" And she just did that. I said, "What?" And she held up this piece of paper and it had number 624 written on it. So I really believe in that theology of convergence. I have lots of other stories like that, but that ties in with this one. And I'd say most of us need a blessing. I mean, Paul, had that thorn in the flesh that he couldn't get rid of. That God had there for some reason to remind him of something or to remind him of who was in control or where all of this power was coming from, whatever the reason, to prove to him that God's grace was sufficient for him, that kind of thing. And so, maybe it was a kidney stone. I don't know. You know how excruciating those can be. You know how hard they are to get rid of. So, all the things that happen to us, you know, God can use. Um, that God doesn't make them happen to us. He has two kinds of will. Real quick Bible study. God has um, direct will that He makes happen. He does. He moves the pieces on the chessboard with His will. Then He has permissive will. He he allows us to do things. It's kind of like, if you know your kids are going to do something, but you don't intervene because you know them that well. Well, God knows us better than we know ourselves, and there's permissive will. Um, you know, Real easy one to use. God did not want, God did not make Hitler do the atrocities he did, but he allowed it to happen. So that's, permissive will. Um, he did intervene with sometimes God will allow bad things to happen so that it will make us hit our knees in prayer. And so we need to understand this blessing, who God is, what He's wanting to do for us. If Numbers 624 doesn't ring a bell, it's okay because you've heard these verses a lot. But I want to go through them for a minute, real quick, because it's real easy to just receive them. Yeah, God bless me. Come on, bring it. I need the blessing. But you're gonna see that there's a role you have to play, that I have to play. We have to be a part of this. God isn't throwing blessings out like candy at a parade. It's you know there's a relationship dynamic that happens. So um, the beauty about relationship dynamics is that you want to be a part of it. You want to be um, make the other person happier than you are. So as God's trying to bless us, um, we should be reciprocating and honoring Him and loving Him and submitting to His authority and all those things that come with being a child of God. Okay, now if you're not a child of God, um, you're missing out on this stuff. So here we go. Number 624. I love it. So this is wilderness time. Moses is speaking to Aaron. Starts with verse 22, really. But I want you to see something at the end because I don't think it's sacrilegious at all to personalize scripture. So like John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Well, put your name in there in the place of world. For God so loved Wade, or God so loved, David, or God so loved, Rachel, or whoever. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So I know many of you that are watching this, for God so loved Rob, or God so loved uh, Lamar, or whoever. So here we go. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, thus you shall bless the sons of Israel. You shall say to them, okay? God is putting down a little requirement, a mandate. Here's what I want you to say. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they shall invoke my name. Hear this? Here comes our part. There's other parts implied, but this is definitely a directive. So they shall invoke my name on the sons of Israel, and I then will bless them. All right. We'll get to the last one in a minute. The Lord bless you and keep you. Okay. Are we deserving of a blessing? Grace and mercy play a part, obviously. Grace being getting that thing we don't deserve, and mercy being not getting what we do deserve. But the Lord blesses us anyway. But are you positioned? Are you postured to receive it? How about this? The Lord bless you and keep you. Most of you know I have a cat. Sometimes the cat wants to be in my lap, or the cat wants Rachel to hold her. But guess what? You try to hold that cat for more than about 5 minutes, and you're going to get claws. Uh, I don't know if you remember the cartoon Pepe Le Pew, the little skunk who fell in love with the little cat that had the white stripe down his tail and down his back. Pepe thought it was another skunk, but you see all of her trying to get away as he's trying to love on her. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord is not going to put you in a bear hug and never let you go. That's that permissive will. Um, you have to want to be a kept person by God, if that makes sense. The Lord bless you and keep you. You know the little chicks that are protected from the rain because the mama's got its wings out? Well, they're only protected as long as they stay under there. If you want the Lord to keep you, you got to stay in his arms, in his lap. So the Lord make his face to shine upon you. Well, guess what? You're not going to have a radiant glow if the Lord's only shining on your back. You got to face him. You've got to turn towards him and then receive, bask in that. Lord, make his face to shine upon you. Remember, Moses had to wear a veil because even the radiant glory of God off of Moses would have been too much for the people of Israel. And be gracious to you. Wow. Um, you know, I have to admit, this is one of my character flaws. I struggle. Sometimes I even can't be gracious to people who are ungrateful or treat me bad or intentionally hurt me. That's something that I just I've never I usually cut them off. It's fine. You don't want to, you don't like me, you don't want to be nice to me, or you can be ugly to me, then I'll go find another thing, another group, another person, whatever. There are a lot of people in the world. But God, in spite of how we treat him, how humanity has treated him, is still gracious to us. Look at this nation. The Lord bless you and keep you. There's that old hymn, count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. If you stop and smell the roses, you'll realize how much God does for us and how much he does for you. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I've had this cold. I lost my voice last week. First time in 61 years. Some people say that was a blessing. But the point is, my joints, whatever this cold did or this bug I got, and my shoulders, my knees, my ankles, it's also attacking my joints. And it hurts. I'm in pain. But then when I look at, I could complain and grumble, but look at all the stuff God has done for me, all the blessings. I can't begin to describe how blessed I am, more than I ever thought I would be in my life. So anyway, new people come in your life, um, old friends get rekindled, all sorts of things. See, voice is still holding up though. All right, as we close, the Lord lifts his countenance upon you. What does that mean? It means, you know, God pours out his nature and his character upon us. Have you ever seen people have this awesome countenance? They just seem to glow. They walk in a room and it lights up. They pull everybody up. They make people better. So that kind of countenance, God's countenance, his nature, his character, his positive energy, for lack of a better term. God's not some crystal, but think of all the things he is. He's truth and he's love and he's pure and he's holy, all the things that we ought to be pursuing. So then, and give you peace. The last part, the Lord lifts his countenance upon you and give you peace. Here's what we need to understand. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Think about the nation of Israel going into the promised land. And guess what? I mean, that's the land that they were promised. Everywhere, he told Joshua, everywhere you put your foot, I'll be with you. It's all yours. Milk and honey, all that. Guess what? They still had conflict. They still had to conquer evil and defeat nations and things. So peace is not the absence of conflict, but peace is understanding that in the midst of conflict, we're on the winning team, that we've got God as our God. We don't serve idols or material things or, if pursue God, right? What does Matthew 6:33 say? Seek ye first, right? And his righteousness. And all these things will should be added unto you. So if you think about it, peace is how we deal with adversity in a way that honors God, knowing that he's got our back. If God is with us, who can be against us? Okay, so they shall invoke my name on the sons of Israel, and then I will bless them. Wow, hang on a minute. That's like a caveat. So all that stuff is up there, but we have to invoke his name. We have to bring the name of God to bear on our communities, on our families, on our friends, on our workplaces, whatever. And you don't have to walk in. I mean, the sweatshirt, it doesn't say, God reigns or anything, but my life should. The way I walk, the way I talk, my actions should not betray my words. All those things. We should be invoking his name in every aspect of our lives, everywhere we go. And look what it says. So they shall invoke my name. Here's where I think we can personalize this. On the sons of your family, on the sons of our community. I live in El Reno. Some of you live in South Carolina. Some of you live all over the country. My sister lives in North Carolina. Shall invoke the name on the sons of Elizabeth City, North Carolina. You shall invoke the name on Oklahoma, your state, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, wherever you're listening to this. You shall invoke my name on the sons of fill in the blank, and then I will bless them. So the blessing comes as a result of submitting to God's authority, being loyal to him, honoring him, putting him first, prioritizing him in your life, your family's life. And it's a beautiful thing. I'll close by reading the whole thing one more time. And I give this to you. Please receive this. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they shall invoke my name on the sons of fill in your blank, and then I will bless them. All right, that's the Ball Cap Bible Study. Y'all have a great week. My voice held up. I will see you on the 20th, January 20th, 2025. Have a great week.